Hi, my name's Kira Murphy. I am an IB student at Campbell High School, and this is my International Skills Diploma Seal presentation. So part of being an IB student at Campbell is the classes that we take, and one of those classes is IB Literature. The photo in the middle is actually of me, my friend Allie, and our IB Literature teacher from junior year, Mr. Smith. And in his class, we read this book called The Shadow of the Wind. It was my favorite book we read all of last year. It's set in the time period of Francisco Franco and the Spanish Civil War, but it's like a fictional novel. So essentially, the main character actually goes to this like secret library where his dad works, and he goes on this quest to kind of find this book that speaks to him. And when the book sort of finds him, he tries to find everything he can about the author, and in that this kind of mystery unravels, which is the premise of the entire novel. And the book that he actually finds is called The Shadow of the Wind. But I really liked the book in particular because we were actually learning about Francisco Franco in my Spanish class at the time that we were reading it, so I was able to make those connections pretty easily. And then on the far right is a snapshot of my IB Art Comparative, which is an assignment where you take two artists from two completely different cultural contexts, and you compare the formal qualities and the technical qualities and the intentional qualities of three different pieces of art. And in the image, you can see it's an aerial view of Machu Picchu, and the artist who created it, his name is Stephen Wong, and he's from Hong Kong, and he does a lot of pieces from all over the world, but puts his own sort of Hong Kong swing on it, so his kind of style of art is really unique. So another part of being an IB student at Campbell and being a student at Campbell in general is being really involved in your extracurriculars. One extracurricular activity that I've actually been involved in for all 4 years of high school is rock climbing, and this past year I got the opportunity to meet the Ukrainian national speed champion for the women's division. Her name is Tanya Kokoltina, and she actually came over here and worked in the US as a coach for my team, because she was a refugee of the Russia-Ukraine war. So it was really cool to get to meet her and to hear her experiences as a refugee, and also for her to share with us some of her culture and certain stories about her family and her partner. So I'm really grateful to have met her. And in the upper right corner, that is my other coach, Alita. She came from Colombia this past summer and stayed in the US working as a coach for a couple months. And one of my favorite things about Alita is that she taught me some Spanish translations for common climbing terms in English. So in climbing, we have a word for a climbing hold that's super round, and it's called a sloper. And Alita told me that the Spanish translation for sloper is el romo. So that's just one example of the vocabulary terms that she taught me. So it'd be really cool to get to use those if I ever get to climb and travel in Colombia or anywhere else in Latin America. And then the bottom right corner is a photo from when my friend from Mexico took me to a Latin dancing studio in Atlanta, and he taught me how to dance bachata and salsa, and I also got to watch all these different people dance bachata and salsa, and there was people of all different ages and all different levels of skill, so it was just really cool to get to experience that. So two of these last images are from a club that I've been a part of all 4 years of high school. It's called National Art Honor Society, and one of the big things we do as a part of the club is contribute to the Chalktoberfest high school competition in Marietta. And 2 years ago, we did a chalk art design that incorporated our hometown baseball team, who had just won the World Series, and we wanted to include elements of Mexican culture because it was Hispanic Heritage Month, and we have a lot of Hispanic students at our school. So we were able to ask some of the Hispanic students in our club and some of our peer group what elements of their culture we could incorporate into our design. So it was really cool, and we actually ended up winning second or third place. And then on the right, we have Freddie Mercury with the Great Britain flag behind him. So we wanted to kind of incorporate elements of like the British royal crown, and we kind of made like the super gaudy looking crown on his head, which was really interesting and intricate to create, but it was a cool process in designing that. And that one also placed. And then on the top right is that's a poster from my elementary school. They do this Heritage Night where they open up the cafeteria and set up tables where families can bring in food and items from their cultures and their countries, and they sort of create this like tour for the students where they get to walk around the cafeteria with fake passports and get little stamps every time they visit a table. So what I did is I got to set up the tables and help clean up the tables, and also talk to some of the students and talk to some of the families. And I was able to practice my Spanish with some of the Spanish-speaking families. There was a table from Mexico, there was a table from Argentina, so that was really cool. And then I got to try some Canadian food, I got to try some Jamaican food, some French food. So overall it was a super fun experience, and I learned a lot, and I ate a lot of food from different places. So yeah, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you.